and a hell
He's
of a
learned to throw
college,
this year.
a hell of a college quarterback. Not going to do it in the pros. He's just not.
I respectfully disagree, but I'm going to go ahead and still pick him for the Saints. And then we move on to number 29.
Oh,
New England Patriots. Grant Delpit, safety, LSU. I feel like they got a couple aging safeties in their secondary with the Chungs, or the Chung and the McCourties. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a safety. They need it. I could go quarterback here, but I don't think they'll move on from Brady. I don't. I feel like he's going to be there another year because it's Kraft, and whatever Brady wants to do, he'll be there. Number 30, San Francisco 49ers.
do you realize the Bears have hung 31 points on the Cowboys?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be this juggernaut. They're leading the NFC East.
Ooh, Jason Witten's chewing out somebody. Jason Witten's like, I came on that Monday night booth to do this.
Yeah,
I can get yelled at by Joe Tessitore.
He was terrible.
He was. I'm just still saying though, it's funny because he did come out of retirement to come back and play, and they go 6-7.
That's why you don't come out of retirement to go back to mediocrity. You come out of retirement and go join the Patriots.
For number 30, San Francisco 49ers.
I'm just saying. That
Kyle
makes me smile.
Shanahan loves his running backs. They have room with Cap. They've got weapons in Emmanuel Sanders there for another year. You've got Deebo Samuel. You've got George Kittle. But two of their running backs are free agents, folks. Don't be surprised if you let John Lynch see one or two of them walk. And one of the all-time beasts in college for the past 4 years, Travis Etienne from Clemson. Oh, my God.
You know what? I might have been upstairs. Who drafted Jonathan Taylor?
I'm about to get to it.
Oh, so you had a running back go before Jonathan Taylor? Your fucking mock draft sucks. It's terrible.
There's the
anybody that tries to tell me that there's any fucking running back over the last 5 years that's better than Jonathan Taylor, including Jacobs this year, has not watched that guy run and has not watched his tape and knows nothing about running backs. That kid right there, and I do not say this at all. I've liked a lot of running backs. That kid is all-time generational special. Watch him run in a phone booth. The power and the quickness of his feet are ain't nobody else in college football like that. Nobody, and he is 230 pounds and like 6'2". He is everything you want in a running back, and he will make. And I love Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs can't hold this kid's jockstrap, dude. And the college tape and all the tape you watch him, oh my God. I don't know how much you've watched him, and I don't even watch a lot of Wisconsin games because they're always on when I'm at work. Every time I can watch this kid's highlights, he makes me get a freaking running back boner, okay? Like, he does things in tight spaces when you watch his feet. Oh, my God. I'm sorry, dude. He is I'm telling you right now, I don't say this and I don't agree with it. Somebody's drafting him in the top 10, probably the top 5.
No.
By the time they get done, but if Josh Jacobs got drafted in 24, when you get done doing the combine and reviewing these fucking GMs and shit are going to drool and fight. They will be tripping over each other's freaking Viagra boners trying to fight to draft this kid. You watch this kid once they start getting into the season of how they start to talk about him. Knock on wood. Barring injury.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Maybe top 15, but he's not going to go top 5.
Watch it. Watch.
It's not going to happen. Not with the QBs, not Chase Young, not with the wide receivers galore that people want.
Ezekiel Elliott went 4, and Ezekiel Elliott fucking sucks compared to Jonathan Taylor. Period.
Yeah. It's also Dallas doesn't use him enough either.
Doesn't, dude? He's not as fast. And I'm going to tell you right now, Zeke's a bigger back. Taylor's twice as strong. I've seen Zeke go into players and get knocked
I've seen
backwards.
Jonathan Taylor also have a reason why I'm picking him next pick. he has a fumbling problem. He has a very rough time trying to hold on to the ball, and on some of them long runs. Where he's had this power and speed, Jay, but then what happens? A defender comes up, pops it out. He carries it like a loaf of bread.
Do you know why? Because nobody's taught him how to carry the ball. That's a very easy
I
Tiki
don't.
Barber fix. It's called split finger high angle. He'll learn that fucking day one of training camp, and it'll be the end of it. You
But
know what,
right now,
Wisconsin?
that's the problem.
You know what? I love Chris and I love him, but those guys, the fact like Wisconsin has issues with their coaching. They have Jack Cohen out there throwing the ball when they got a freaking 5-star recruit quarterback that's twice as good as he is because they want to redshirt him because then he'll have him for 4. Fuck that shit. Like they do not do a good job of preparing and playing all their best players and then preparing all their best players to be the best they can. That's why Wisconsin is always really good but never elite. It's all about the way they run their program. And I'm sorry, I've seen a lot of running backs go through there that have some carry issues, hit the NFL, get some basic fundamentals, and not have that issue. Monty Ball had an issue going in there, and he didn't hardly fumble at all until he drunk himself out of the league. But same thing with James White. James White had a fumbling issue at Wisconsin too. Goes to New England, doesn't fumble the ball.
Well, I get that, but the thing is still he has a fumbling issue right now. I need to see it fixed. You can't say it's going to get fixed. I need to see it fixed. And right now, I see him having a fumbling problem, which, yes, he's having a ton of carries, but that's just me. But that's why I'm putting Travis Etienne over him because, one, you rarely see him turn the ball over. He's been to the big show multiple times and performed well on it. He performs
Taylor.
well. Huh?
He's not Jonathan Taylor.
Because, dude, he's Wisconsin. I get it. He's a Wisconsin boy.
No,
I got it.
No. I'm not a Wisconsin homer like that. Not like that. This kid is just special. If he was on LSU or Alabama, he would be getting twice as much hype as he is on Wisconsin because a lot of people think he's only good because they hand him the ball 35 times a game. And, by the way, FYI, when you look at his fumbles per volume, he still you wouldn't consider a fumbling problem considering that the next guy's fumbles per carry are like twice as high as his. And so really, when they're going to look at it, they're going to look at it and say, yeah, but compared to volume, it's not really that big of an issue. He's never going to touch the ball in an NFL backfield 35, 40 times in a game like he does almost every other game in college.
Okay, and I'll still take Travis Etienne because it's what it's showing me now. I have to go off the draft now. That's what I'm doing, man.
It's okay. You draft him and you'll be wrong. Generational player.
Yeah, we'll see. Running backs have a very short shelf life, as we both agree. Jonathan Taylor is a physical running back. Marion Barber was a very physical running back too, and look what happened. 5 years done. Sorry. I'd rather take Travis Etienne where he doesn't just smash into a pile and actually takes his time and looks for the holes.
Oh, my God. The fact you just said that makes me know that you've never watched Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, I have seen Jonathan Taylor plenty of times.
He is
I actually just watched one of his full games last night, and
he's got a spin move that will break your nuts.
Okay, a spin move. What I'm talking about is still he has one thing too. He tries to run through piles, and that's one thing that's a knock against him. I'm not saying it can't be fixed, but right now, Travis Etienne is a more polished back. Right now. And then, Baltimore Ravens, Jonathan Taylor. Lamar Jackson gets another weapon, and you have Mark Ingram and Jonathan Taylor together. Also, Gus Edwards as a third stringer there. That would be one nasty component. 32, I have Seattle Seahawks. Paulson Adebo. Quarterback out of Stanford, one of the few shining stars of that team this year. But it's a thing Seattle loves, guys, is corners. They love corners. And they've lost a couple of them over the years to free agency or trade. So I'm going to give them one.
No, if you wanted to be really
still on the Taylor thing.
If you wanted to be really inflammatory, no, I'm not about Taylor anymore. This is different. You would say that actually the Seattle Seahawks are going to draft a quarterback, Jalen Hurts, in the first round because
why?
Because where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a lot of reports last year. With everything going on,
And they just paid Russell. He's not going anywhere.
Russell doesn't want to be there. He wants to be in New York. New York's going to need a quarterback.
That came out before the big deal, Jay, and then the big deal happened.
He's going to end up in New York.
He even said after the... He even said
draft Jalen Hurts, and he's going to get butt hurt and asked to be traded.
No, he's not. They're going to keep Russell Wilson, especially because he's having a MVP type season.
But he doesn't like Seattle.
No,
he doesn't like to smoke weed.
Jay, he came out and said
God loves Russell Wilson, and therefore he doesn't want him to be in a marijuana state. He's got to go to New York.
Doesn't make any sense at all. That's probably
neither does God caring about him winning an NFC Championship game. But he said it.
But guess what? Guess what? That's his First Amendment right to come out and say that. Who cares? We have a couple players on the Packers that say some pretty wild crap too, but I ignore it. So, but either way, Russell Wilson came out and said after the big deal, "I want to be a Seahawk for life." He wouldn't have signed the deal if he didn't want to be there, Jay.
Oh, he wanted to sign the deal because he wanted his money.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, folks, for that. Russell Wilson will never leave Seattle. I don't know why
maybe. You never know. You can never say never.
Maybe on the
Brett
back end of his
Favre left the Packers.
That's because Favre was a back-switching freaking turd at the end of his career. I want to retire. I want to unretire. I want to retire. I want to unretire. No, you don't get to do that. Once you retire, stay retired. Done.
You cannot tell a man to do something when he's never going to be able to do it.
So that you can't get mad at the Packers for keeping Rodgers to start when he came out right at training camp. Oh, I think I'm going to retire.
I didn't say I was mad. I just said you can't say never because it's happened.
But what I'm saying is, Favre was a special situation.
Another bad ball. I'm just
special situation.
I just like to tease you because we're trying to kill time here, and I know you shaved your baby face, so your facial reactions are different. So I got to get some more reactions out of you because now it's like seeing a guy for the first time with no facial hair on.
So you're actually not discussing football. You're just trying to get reactions out of me.
Well, yeah, it's interesting with your new baby face.
I know, man. I gained 10 years back on my life.
It was very surprising when it popped on. I was like, holy shit, what happened to this beard off thing? Now I look like an old fucker because I'm here with gray hair.
Because it was no shave November, and November's over. I didn't trim it. I literally just went full out, and y'all were like, I trim it. What?
I have to trim mine for work, or I'll
beard
get in
net.
trouble. I'm not wearing a beard net.
Hey, no dedication.
I'm not doing it.
No dedication to men's prospects.
If that's what dedication means, you're goddamn right. I'm not that dedicated.
I had to.
No argument there from that point of view. No.
I had to. Hey, so do you like that pick with Kenneth Murray for the Packers at 27? He's not a Blake Martinez. But that's a problem
Clark,
we've been
they've
having.
Got Clark, they've got Kingsley, they've got
You got Lowry. Lowry's been playing his butt off the past couple games.
Well, no, I'm saying it's not like it's such a glaring need that you have to go there in the first or second round. Linebacker is going to be a need. Whether you got Martinez,
it's a glaring hole.
It needs to be addressed. I'm not a real big fan of it, but at the same time, there also becomes a point when you're Brian Gutekunst and you've had 2 or 3 drafts, and the majority of your drafts are working out, okay? And then you go out and you spend money in free agencies, there becomes a point where there's not as many holes to plug. So even if you don't agree on a draft philosophy, like I'm not a big guy like drafting there's not a whole lot of holes to plug. So if that's the best player in the first round and he's so much more talented on your board, and everybody agrees he's a talent that deserves to be there and somebody else is going to take him, whether or not you agree with it, like, what, now, because otherwise the flip side is saying, well, now I'm just going to ignore talented players because of a philosophy I have, even though that's really one of the few holes I have. So I'm just going to ignore it because I'm going to draft this because I don't believe in middle line. Like that's asinine in itself too.